Mister.
Oh, hello. Starting this game makes me deaf.
Yes, I agree. The volume at the intro is very loud. Are you gonna visit me in my new apartment?
Maybe. So I can freeload on your apartment.
I'm gonna probably steal all my Lego.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think... I still think it's probably unlikely that it's gonna be possible this week, but...
Hmm. Like moving in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least 2 weeks to like move everything, I guess.
Well, it's mainly the packing that takes most time.
Hmm.
Well, that and...
Like renting a truck or something.
No, I'll explain about that in a moment, but like I still need to wait for everything to be like confirmed and shit. It's like I don't know the names in English and stuff, but basically like some documentation stuff, right? Like they had to check my income and verify it, but that goes from party to party, where it's like me and my coach send the income info to one party who like handle like my connection to like the officials, like the township or whatever, and then they like send that to them, and then they check everything, and if everything is in order, then they give a go, which as far as I heard today from my coach, they did approve that my income and stuff is all like good. And then like my other connection now, like I believe her workday is on Wednesday, so she'll probably like work on that then, maybe, I don't know. And then she'll have to like send the documents like over to my coach so that I can go there and sign it and receive the key. So that's like the whole process basically now. So earliest maybe Wednesday that like I'll get the key. I'm not gonna expect it though. I'm still gonna expect it might be somewhere next week instead. But as far as the truck and stuff, I don't need to hire a truck, thankfully.
Oh yeah?
Because my coach, the organization he works for, they have like different areas, right? Like different workplaces, like the one over here, and then like in another city they have another one, and like in different cities. And so he contacted a colleague of his that works in a different city. And he basically has a large bus. Like, not enough bus, van is the word. And as far as like he asked him like, hey, can you help soon like a client of mine to help move, because apparently he really enjoys helping with that. So you know,
nice.
That's very good, and that's basically gonna be free of charge because it's like included as a service that I like pay for from the coaching organization, right? I don't think the van will be able... Like, I haven't seen the actual van or anything. Which episode are we on anyway? Well, we completed episode 1 last time.
You think so?
Oh, okay. Subway to Hell was the last one, right? Cool, Purgatory. What was I saying? Yeah, I haven't seen the van or anything, but you know, I just gauging on like how much stuff I have. You know, there's some furniture, you know, my desk, clothing closet, a couple of tables and stuff like that. And then like all the boxes and stuff, like it's probably gonna take at least 2 trips back and forth, maybe 3, I'm not sure. Again, depends on like how much space there is, but yeah.
How far is it to the apartment from your house now?
Well, it's not too far.
The menace continues unabated. Supernatural forces taunt your every move. Your successful escape from Berlin proves to be only temporary.
Like it's doable on a bicycle. Not easy for me, but it is doable. Like it's probably maybe 30 minutes on a bicycle if you'd like have a good pace.
Yeah, then that's a decent travel distance.
I hope I didn't select the wrong character. Because then I want to restart and change my character. Oh yeah, I did have different pleb. Fuck. How do I change?
I think you can only do it from the lobby.
God damn it. Why didn't you tell me I have the wrong pleb?
It's gonna be episode 1 again.
I thought it would be the same pleb. I want Boris.
Red Army veteran, stoic.
Maybe one of the other plebs from Left 4 Dead. No, I want Boris. Okay. Double checking difficulty and everything. Alright. Sorry. I just want Boris.
The Nazi zombie menace continues unabated.
But yeah, I think I'm just gonna need a couple extra boxes.
Your successful escape from
Because I've been mostly grabbing boxes from the attic and stuff that we had. But I'm gonna need like a bit more. Mostly for my Lego. But also some other stuff. Like, there's just a lot of, like, you know, stuff I own, like collectibles and whatnot, books. There's even, yeah, some books from my childhood and whatnot. Clothes I can do in bags, like, that's fine, because that doesn't need to be protected in boxes. Just big bags with clothes. So, but yeah, Legos, I'm like kind of obsessing OCD-ish with like whenever I buy Lego, I keep the original box and I keep basically the book in that box, and then when I disassemble the set, there's like, the supermarket sells these awesome plastic bags that you can seal with like a zip bags. So I basically put the Lego in the zip bag and then put it in the box of the set so that I can have easy access to it, instead of, like, you know, mixing up all the bags and then, yeah, it gets confusing which bag is for which set. Especially when some sets are bigger and need multiple bags. So it's just easy to...
in total, how many sets do you have?
A lot. Like, I don't know. Including very small ones, I don't know, like, maybe more than 50. Like, I've been disassembling a lot of sets over the last few days. It kind of hurts my fingers.
Oh.
Because Legos have lots of sharp edges and stuff, so... I do use a brick separator, which is a nice little tool, but... I'm still doing a lot with my fingers and nails as well. And, you know, there's a couple of sets that are too big that are not worth the effort of disassembling and reassembling. And it's not necessarily that I want to reassemble every set I have. I might even sell some down the line, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, a lot of them are like collectible items.
Yeah, more so the sealed ones I haven't opened yet. Which a couple I'm thinking of still building, but a couple maybe I'll consider still selling. And I do have like 4 sealed ones that I did buy back in the day with the intention to sell. And they are worth a lot of money now, so that's nice. But, yeah, like I have a lot of sets. But, of course, having grown older, like, you know, back when I was younger, I did get occasionally more sets that would be, like, smaller and, like, more meant for play. Whereas now that I'm older, I kind of care more about just having sets that are just good for display. Which... some of the smaller sets are not good for display on their own. Only if I could make like an army out of them, maybe they would look good as a display piece, but... some don't really go well with other sets. Like, sure, if I have random clone army sets, small ones, I can bunch them together to create a clone army, right? So like, I have like a clone army speeder and like some walkers and a gunship. Those can be put together to make like a little clone army. But then I have like another set that's like from Revenge of the Sith, where Obi-Wan fights General Grievous. And that's like a very isolated scene where it's like, okay, well, unless canonically General Grievous used that vehicle of his in the chase with Obi-Wan in battle, then I could maybe use it in like a droid army, but other than that, it would probably be useless for display. I don't know. So everything just, yeah, really depends. They're having food.
Food allowed. Oh yeah.
Uh-oh. Woke them up. But yeah, mostly I'm just
Secret.
putting a big playlist on YouTube. And yeah, just listening to videos and stuff. Mainly a lot of videos from the Act Man lately.
Oh yeah.
And he's been, like, the last few videos I saw, he talked a lot about Call of Duty games. So that's why I kind of got in the mood for Call of Duty. So I did install Modern Warfare, but I'm not sure when I'll play it yet. And that's also the reason why I found out about, like, that World at War was, like, part of the Black Ops series. And he also, of course, talks a lot about Halo.
Yeah, I watched his channel like a few years back. I haven't watched in a while.
Yeah, I really like his videos. I like the kind of, like, in-depth analysis about video games that he goes by and stuff like that. Damn it. My aim is shit. As always. Oh, that's a lot of plebs.
Nice.
I've also been searching the attic a little bit, and I found, like, a lot of stuff from my childhood. Some include, like, toys and whatnot. But obviously, because a lot of them are, like, toys for children, I had to, like, throw a bunch of them away. Which was a little bit hard to do on an emotional level just because of memories. But, like, yeah, they're, like, legit just toys that I would not use in any way or anything right now, right? Just children's toys and whatnot. Well, and that's coming from a person who does collect Lego, so. But yeah, just, like, some of them are also damaged and stuff, so.
Yeah, but did you just throw them away, or do you have like a second-hand store somewhere?
Not really. I can tell of anything to throw away. Or I mean, of any second-hand store. I don't know of anything like that. Like, you probably mean, like, the thrift shops and stuff, right?
Yeah. Either sell it to them or gift it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't, like, throw it away.
Yeah, so I don't know of any, like, thrift stores like that nearby. Like, probably somewhere in Amsterdam, but it would be too much of a hassle to bring all that stuff there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, yeah, I would definitely prefer to give it to someone, but, like, yeah. Can't really. But some of the stuff I'm still keeping, like, more of, like, things that are, like, more display pieces and whatnot. And some stuff I'm also still unsure about. Oh, we've got a lot of ammo here. So I uninstalled Narcosis.
Yeah, I saw your review partly, that it was bad.
Yeah. It was really bad. Well, maybe bad is not the correct word, because There's definitely worse, but like very underwhelming and boring and felt annoying as well. But it's like, I definitely wouldn't say it's like bad like those asset flip horror games that you have. But like, it definitely wasn't, yeah. It's rare for me to just stop playing a game and be like, fuck it, I'm not playing it anymore. Usually I'm kind of like completionist.
Yeah, but on Cozy, is that like an underwater horror game?
It says it's an underwater horror game, but it's more like an underwater walking simulator. And I feel offended when people try to compare it to Soma, because it's not even close.
Not even close.
Because people are like, oh, both games are underwater, so they must be similar. And it's like, no, not even like. Because Soma's focus isn't even about it being underwater, really. Like, yeah, there are a couple underwater sections. But does the horror in Soma come from it being underwater? No, not really. The horror comes from like the whole technology thing that they have going on with the memories and stuff like that, and what that virus thingy, I forgot the name, is doing. But it's not even like Narcosis is a pretty game. The graphics are nice, and I like that you walk in like an in like a heavy suit, so you kind of have like tank controls, and like A and D rotate your character, whereas when you move the mouse, you just look inside of the suit around you, right? So that's cool. I think that's fine. I think that adds immersion. But it tries... firstly, like, the atmosphere is a bit lacking. Again, it is pretty areas, but I never feel like I'm, like, stranded deep all alone underwater somewhere. So I know that the atmosphere is just lacking. Then way too early the game is like trying to like mindfuck you with, oh, your character's hallucinating and here's jump scares. And it just tries too hard and too early because there's no build up. It happens like very early in the game that you're, you know those games that have like a chapter that's like very trippy where your character is supposedly hallucinating and like, you know, the room is upside down, stuff like that, right? And I think those kind of sections should be built up to, where you slowly have your character going insane, for example, until the point where they start hallucinating. But this was just like pretty much right at the beginning of the game. It's like, oh, just no build up whatsoever, and I didn't feel anything for it. And again, trying too hard with the jump scares that they become predictable and thus not scary but more obnoxious. The game also has an O2 meter, which, you know, makes sense. That you have to manage your air and stuff like that. But the problem is that it stops you from wanting to explore, right? Because obviously, if you have a limited air, you can't really explore, you just have to find progress. Which at the beginning isn't much of a problem. They actually shower you with O2 pickups. But then I came to a section where you walk and you visit all these underwater caves. And the wildlife isn't even scary, just these giant spider crabs. Which, yeah, I guess if you have very big arachnophobia, they scare you. And sure, they're definitely not creatures I want to be near in real life, but like in the game, like they didn't really scare me or anything. And yeah, the game is like very bad in its level design where it doesn't really properly tell you where to go, and I kind of get lost in the caves, and there's like very clunky platforming. And I kept dying like 5 times over, and checkpoint was really, really bad, so I had to do the same section like 5 times over.
Oh yeah.
Until I kind of just got frustrated by having to redo the same thing. And then I kind of like quit because I got pissed off. I just had enough of redoing that same section. And again, that's just because very shitty, like, you know, you have like a cave and then there's like multiple exits. But like only one, like all the other exits are like blocked off by an invisible wall. And it doesn't clearly tell you which of the exits you have to go to. And the platforming is so clunky that you can technically go to the other exits. And yeah, it's just fucking clunky. And there was also no gameplay really. Like no puzzle solving or anything. The most engaging thing I had to do was like find a key card. And press some buttons every now and then, but never like a puzzle, which I think is really bad. And I'm not even trying to say that walking simulators are necessarily bad, because I can enjoy them, but it's more like the game presented itself as more of a survival horror game on the Steam page. Okay, ow. Hope we have a good checkpoint.
I promise you I'll be back. I love you all.
Because, you know, there are fun walking simulators, like I heard, like Firewatch looked very fun. Which is also, yeah, very much a walking simulator. And again, like, if it also, again, depends on, like, expectations versus what you get. Because, like, yeah, if I would go play Dear Esther, I would probably be able to get through it, because I know I'd be getting into a walking simulator. But, you know, when the trailer looks like it's much more horror-focused, the screenshots in the video, and it doesn't help that there are idiot Steam users who actually tag the game as survival horror, so yeah, then I'm gonna get certain expectations. Even Subnautica was scarier during certain moments.
Yeah, Subnautica can be terrifying.
Yeah. And I wouldn't call Subnautica a horror game or anything, but it has its moments, right? And you're like deep underground and there's like some kind of leviathan suddenly attacking you and shit like that. Like, I really loved Subnautica. It was such a good game. Even though it's sad to hear that the second game doesn't seem to be as good, but, you know, I'll still play it eventually. No! I just placed that. Damn it. Placed a mine and then I missed the fucking pleb. But I guess it's just generally an annoying thing when the majority of people don't understand what a genre is, and the meaning gets like twisted. And I guess, you know, you kind of see the same thing with me and Natulus disagreeing on what survival games are.
Oh yeah.
And then there's like, in the similar way, you know, like survival horror. And then people are like, oh, it's a scary game, that means it's a survival horror game. It's like, no, not really. Because that's like, I think, a specific thing, right? Where it's like, you've got horror games, and then survival horror are like much more specific.
Yeah, I mean, survival horror requires like some kind of health mechanic, and a lot of like walking horror simulators. Just you die and then reload a checkpoint. That's it.
Yeah. Like, survival horror for me is like resource management and puzzle solving in a horror setting. Because I look at like the original survival horror games, which are like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, basically. And they also focus on, you know, exploration in a horror environment, but then heavy emphasis on managing your resources and inventory. Oh, Hans! And puzzle solving as well. Which is one of my favorite aspects, honestly. That's my favorite thing about Resident Evil. Puzzle solving and like the atmosphere and stuff. Oh my god, my aim is so shit. I can't believe how much I am shooting next to his head. Ow, 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 ow. Oh crap. He coming. Yeah, it's funny how it's easier to snipe at long range than at medium and short range. Because the target just moves too much on short range. Oh yeah, grabbing ammo, that's a good idea. Forgot I could do that.
Yeah, the RNG is pretty bad with it. Like 2 pistol shots at a time.
I don't even use my pistol.
I use the, I think it's called Webley.
Yeah,
Insta kills most of them.
I switched to it as well now, even though I don't often need to use it, but... But even Soma, even though it's like one of my favorite horror games, I don't think I would call it survival horror. Because there's
No,
like,
not really.
there's like no inventory management or anything. And the puzzle solving is... There's some puzzles every now and then, but it's not super heavy emphasized. Like, I'd more likely just call it psychological horror with a focus on like narrative. But definitely not walking simulator levels. Because there is like, you know, of course, like hiding from monsters and avoiding them like stealth. But it is definitely my favorite horror game, I think. Even though I haven't played that many, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah, from what I remember from the playthrough, it didn't really have any low points either.
Yeah, I was engaged the whole time through. But it's
like maybe pacing, but that's like exploring like the outside areas of the base, I think.
yeah, the like underwater areas where you had to walk a lot in some moments. Those were probably, I guess, the most boring, but those were very rare. And just, I guess, the strong point is like the narrative got its hooks in me very, very quickly. Like, I was genuinely interested, like, oh, what's going on here? What is happening? I was curious the whole time, and that's what kept me playing. That kept me, like, on the edge of my seat, addicted of, like, oh, I want to see what happens next. I want to see what happens next. And through, like, halfway, I was, like, constantly, like, waiting, like, oh, I can't wait to see the ending, but not in the way of, like, oh, I want this game to be over with, but just, like, I'm so curious how this game is gonna end. Oh, Shikari. Do you think he has a bone to pick with us? Finally, I found a bottle.
Wine bottle.
Oh, Skelly boy. Got them spotlight. Or is it thunder? I don't know. Too bad Medal of Honor Rising Sun is not on PC. Because that game could actually be played full co-op.
Which console was it?
PlayStation 2. You want shotgun?
I'm fine.
Cue Doom Eternal soundtrack. They both like bounced back to us. I was like, oh, Toaster's throw was bad, let me do it better. And I was like, oh, it's just as bad. Did you see the new Avatar game?
No. Is it any good?
Well, I lied, there's 2 new Avatar games.
Oh, really?
Yep. One is Avatar The Last Airbender game, and the other is the Blue People Avatar game. Airbender Avatar game is really bad because it's published by the same people of Rise of Kong.
Oh yeah.
And it like literally looks worse than a PlayStation 2 game. In terms of gameplay, not even graphics. Like, it looks more boring than Hello Kitty Roller Rescue.
Is it because like the Kong is public domain now, so they can do whatever?
I have no idea. By the way, did you know that the publishers of Rise of Kong are the same people who published, or I'm not even sure if it was published or devs, but the same ones that made Big Rigs.
Oh.
Yep. But yeah, the Blue People Blue People Avatar game is actually published by Ubisoft. And it basically looks like a very pretty Far Cry game. In like the Blue People world.
Oh, so it's first person as well.
Yep. Who the fuck is shooting me? Oh! Oh, I didn't see there was a torso attacking me.
Dying.
Yeah, it's literally Far Cry in the Avatar world planet thing. So it looks very pretty in terms of like, you know, the world, but I think it's just gonna be, you know, another Ubisoft game, which is fine, but in small doses.
Unforgettable.
Yeah, like I can usually only play Ubisoft games with like a big break in between because they get repetitive quite quickly, so I get burned out on a Ubisoft game after finishing one.
Kind of curious if it's just the executive mentoring that ruins the games.
I don't know what it is with Ubisoft, that they just have to make everything the same kind of open world experience. It's, you know, it's the only thing they can make open world games. And I think, you know, if they want to focus on that, fine, but they should just really put more effort into creating their open worlds and make it less about going off a checklist to get all the collectibles and more about finding distractions in a fun open world. Because you play an open world Ubisoft game and compare that to playing an open world Rockstar game, and you instantly notice how different it is. Because, like, I would not be able to... Like, sure, there's a handful of places I'd be able to recognize in the Assassin's Creed games, for example, and in the Far Cry games. But compare that to how much you're gonna know a city in GTA. And it's not even like, you know, because people might say, oh, but Far Cry is like on an island, but yeah, you know, half of GTA 5 is also desert, but still recognizable because it's well crafted. And Assassin's Creed is also cities, just in old times, and still that is all the same copy-pasted buildings pretty much. So, you know, there's just a big difference in how much more interesting, because the thing is, I do like the atmosphere in Assassin's Creed games. I love being able to be walking around in like an older time period in like cool ancient cities, right? I love that. I just wish that the cities were more detailed and had more it was more interesting to play in them rather than just going off a checklist of secondary content. Assassin's Creed 3 is like the first one I didn't even 100%. There's so many like objectives were like too annoying. I was like, fuck it. Even though some things were pretty cool that they added, but then others were not. And with Far Cry, I believe I've played best Far Cry already, which is 3. Because that's what I keep hearing everyone say, that Far Cry 3 is the best one.
Yeah, I imagine.
So I'm curious about 4 and 5 and stuff. Although I did hear that the fuck, how is it called again? Blood Dragon is pretty good as well. But I have heard negative things about Primal. Even though Primal looks, for me, to be more fun because it's very different. Because it's not guns and more like, you know, in the Primal Age. So I was like, oh, they did like a whole new unique thing, right?
I think they were annoyed that they pretty much copy-pasted the map from our previous game.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that could also.
Otherwise, it's like one of the more unique games in the series.
Yeah. And now a brand new Call of Duty just came out, like Modern Warfare 3 2. And I heard that the campaign is like 4 hours long. And people are complaining about it, which is fair, but at the same time I'm like, well, why did you pre-order a fucking Activision game? And instead of wait for reviews. Because the game isn't even out yet, it's actually coming out in like 3 days. But people who pre-ordered have early access. So like now reviews are coming out and saying it's very short and lackluster. So I'm like, okay, well, why did you pre-order then? Because I always think it's like a double-sided thing. Like, yeah, I do think the quality of games should be better, absolutely. But if you're just gonna keep pre-ordering every game, then yeah, you're kind of like doing it to yourself. Unless, like, I can kind of see it if you're like really super hardcore fan of a franchise. Then I can kind of see it, right? Ooh. Because we all have like some franchises that just get us very excited, so I can kind of understand that. But I doubt that everyone who pre-ordered Call of Duty is like, oh, Call of Duty is my favorite game franchise ever.
I think Call of Duty has been bad for a while now.
From like which game do you think they've been bad? Because I've heard all kinds of different opinions. I heard mostly that like Black Ops 2 was like the last proper good game.
Yeah, I think it peaked at that game. I enjoyed Black Ops 3, but after that I didn't really pay much attention to the series.
Okay.
I did play the rebranded World War, the newer one.
World War 2, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's a decent Hollywood shooter.
Yeah, you know, like, when I play Call of Duty, I'm not necessarily... I don't care that much if it's, like, realistic, I guess. But I do kind of want the missions to be cool, and obviously it does help when there are like those very impactful missions and like plot lines that you do have, like, you know, in Modern Warfare 2, of course, no Russian. Like, not I'm not saying like, oh, the mission is cool because you get to shoot civilians, but it's like very ballsy, and it actually has impact on the story because it's like, you know, a conspiracy done to give Russia a reason to invade the US. So, in a story sense, it makes sense, and it's like very impactful and ballsy. So that's why I think it's like. Why do I get an achievement called Become Possessed?
I picked up a doll. I'm eating fish.
Yummy.
Yummy, yummy, yummy. In my tummy.
But there was like a Call of Duty game that came out some time ago. I don't know which one it was, but it also had like I don't know if it was the new Modern Warfare 1 or new Modern Warfare 2. Well, it was like also that you were like in a city. I don't know which city it was, and there's like a terrorist attack, and there's civilians running around while you're having to take out terrorists. So that looked very cool as well, because it's like, again, very ballsy of like making it pretty realistic and chaotic in that way, where you actually have to like watch out with where you shoot because there's civilians everywhere. Enjoy your dinner, Universal. And there's also a mission in that game where you're like infiltrating some house there where are terrorists and they have like hostages and stuff. Like, I saw some gameplay of it and it just looked very cool. You know, and again, like a bit ballsy of like having these more sensitive things that you kind of engage with. And I think it's, you know, like, where it kind of like is not afraid to show like some gruesome reality of the situation, right? Because like, the same with like any kind of game, right? If it's a World War game, that the game isn't afraid to show you some gruesome things that happen in that war. And I'm not saying it just purely for shock, but also for authenticity, because it's like, yeah, war is awful, and these kind of fucked up things did happen in war, right? And the same with terrorism. Terrorism is fucked up, and sadly, it does happen from time to time. So I think it is also ballsy and emotionally interesting when a game focuses on, like, taking out terrorists, puts you in a situation where you kill terrorists, that it also depicts it in, like, a gruesome, realistic way. But I guess, you know, sometimes companies will be very afraid to do that, of course, because they don't want, you know, there are people who are more sensitive to those kind of things.
Yeah, and the fact that AAA games, like game developers, are very bound to their advertisements, so they can't be too edgy.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think, like, it shouldn't become edgy, but authentic, you know. I think there's definitely a difference between doing it in an authentic way and in an edgy way. Because I don't think No Russian is edgy.
Yeah, no.
Even though there are probably some people, you know, there's probably some youngsters who played that game and did think, oh, this is edgy, I get to kill civilians, right? But, like, that's not really the goal of the mission in the game, to be edgy. Not designed in that way. And what I've also seen in some of the Call of Duty games, and I forgot which ones they were, but like it's also like you just have moments, you know, as well at the end of No Russian, where the character you play as just dies, you just get executed. It's like, whoa. You know, and then you just play as another character the next mission. I think that's cool as well because it makes the game less predictable. Where it's like, you know, like 99% of games have an happy ending. You play the game as a character and you know, like, oh, well, nothing's bad gonna happen in the story because I have main character protection, so I'm gonna roll credits and my character's gonna have a good ending. Whereas if you know, like, oh, this series is known, like, there is a chance your character might not survive, all of a sudden, you know, maybe if there's a cutscene where you get captured, you don't know for sure if you're gonna survive or not. You're like, oh shit, maybe my character will actually die now. That's fucking cool. And Far Cry 3 did a little bit of that as well. Even though, you know, it was only the third game, but it made it believable to think certain moments like, oh shit, maybe I'll actually die here now. I like it when the game makes the player feel vulnerable a bit. There's also like a famous scene in Metal Gear Solid 3. Which also impacted me a lot when I first time played that. I mean, that game still impacts me some of the most on an emotional level. Hans? I'm gonna lure Hans into these landmines if I can. If he's still alive. Yeah. Coming up. Uh-oh. He ain't coming. Come on, Hans. What the fuck is Hans doing? Just chilling. Oh. Finally coming. Come on, Hans, we have a present for you. I survived. Gonna lower my volume a little bit because it's still a bit too loud sometimes.
When we reach the next checkpoint, I gotta restart the game. I have no audio.
Oh. That's not good.
No. This, I think, is the end of the first level.
Intel report that the Nazis possess something called the Sagamata relic. It seems to be the key to controlling the zombie menace. We think we have its location. Awfully sorry, chaps, but we need you to go back into the lion's den.
Yeah.
Can you pick the lobby from here?
Yep.
Nice.
I got the best shot and the most kills.
Ooh.
And you got a higher score and higher combo, which just means you're just too patient and I'm too impatient.
Yes.
We missed one wine bottle. Ugh. But I still think it's weird how they released like Modern Warfare, which was like PS3, I think, already. And then World at War, which was also 7th generation console. And then they released World at War Final Fronts, which was a PlayStation 2 game. Even though it came out after the release of Modern Warfare and World at War. And it was like totally unique. It has like totally different levels of missions than normal World at War. So that's why I bought it as well.
I mean, at some point there were like 4 different developers for the Call of Duty series.
Yeah.
Berlin. If there is a beacon of hope amid the horror, then this city is surely the furthest from it. Nevertheless, you must venture forth to the Kaiser Friedrich Museum and recover the Sagamata relic.
Sagamata relic. Which reminds me, Strange Brigade.
Oh yeah.
And Portal 2.
Yeah, Strange Brigade was on sale for like 95% off.
Yeah. That game always looked fun to me. It's got like that Indiana Jones vibe. And yeah, Portal 2. That's a classic. Or good team play.
You're checking for a wine bottle.
Maybe. One thing I also want to see one day, because I'm still kind of, I still think it's stupid that it hasn't been done, but like a World War II game where you play as a German soldier. Because obviously, you know, the Germans were the bad guys during World War II and stuff like that, but it does create that notion of like, oh, all the Germans were bad and stuff, and it's like, no, not entirely. Not every German soldier was a Nazi. It's just that, you know, they had no other choice than to do what, you know, their country ordered them, and surely I think there's a lot of potential to create a good story and perspective as well from a German soldier who might, you know, someone who clearly realizes that, you know, what their country leader is doing is fucking horrible, but he has no choice. You know, like, because at the same time, you know, the Soviets in World War II were also fucking terrible to some degree. And so were the Allies. There were plenty of terrible soldiers who did terrible things. And it's like that typical, like, oh, history is written by the victors, so like, oh, everyone who won are the good guys. And it's like, no. There's not really good people in war, in a general sense. So yeah, I do think it would be somewhat respectable to have, like, you know, an actual good quality experience where you, yeah, you do play as a German soldier as well. You know, like, I think it would, it's like, it pretty much writes itself, create like a Wehrmacht soldier who like has a very big struggle with his moral compass, of course, and then he sees like SS soldiers doing horrible things and stuff, and he can't really open his mouth about it because then obviously he'll get executed himself. You know, like that could, I think that could be very easily, like that's a very easy idea to, that almost writes itself with like situations you could make. I was already surprised that in some of the original Call of Duties you actually got to play as a Soviet soldier as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it if there were any game or any like scene that you played as a German soldier. Doesn't seem to be one.
Yeah.
Oh!
Ouch.
Nice. 420.
Yeah, the only moments you do get to play as a German soldier are in online PvP games. Or stuff like Unlisted or, you know, Call of Duty PvP where you play as the Axis. Or World of Tanks with German tanks. I believe even like in some of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare games, I'm not, again, I don't know which one, but one of them, you have like these extra missions, and like in one of them missions you actually play as like one of the terrorists as well, as like one of the lackeys of like the main bad guy. Which I do think is also cool for like creating a different perspective. Wow, it just suddenly unlocked.
Unlocked which bullet?
Bullet is the key to everything. Uh-oh. Addies. And then at the same time, there's also not even that many, but like World at War was definitely, I think, one of the first ones that did it, but like scenarios where you do get to fight against the Japanese as well. Because Medal of Honor Rising Sun was focused on that. And I do know Call of Duty World at War had that as well. Not again! And you know, like same thing, like playing as the Japanese would also be cool for like a different perspective. Oh, he's doing the wave or the worm.
Nice. Yeah, with the Japanese the same goes with like it's solely tied to multiplayer games.
Ooh. Oh no. Shot him in the head. Oh god. Uh-oh. Oh god. He's trying to snipe the bad snooper, man. Also, just, I don't know if you have played them, but like very good World War II games, Brothers in Arms.
Yeah, I played a bit of Highway, I think.
They're really good. Like, I think some of the best narratively driven World War II games. Because it really focuses on like managing your squad, and like it's rare for me to care that much about like other characters in a World War II game. And if you ever have a PlayStation 2 or 3, I still really recommend Medal of Honor Frontline. But that's maybe just also a lot of nostalgia speaking, but holy fuck. That game is good. The music alone is like, whoa. I've always been kind of sad that the early Medal of Honor games were just only on consoles.
Yeah, considering now with all the remakes and remasters, it would be a good point to like remake those.
Yeah. Just sad that Medal of Honor fell down a lot earlier than like the big games like Battlefield and Call of Duty. Because you got the first two games on PS1, and you got Frontline and Rising Sun, which I really liked. Then there was Vanguard and European Assault. I've never played those though, so I don't know if they're good or not. Oh, Skelly.
Okay.
But then like later after that, I heard that they became pretty bad. And then they tried to come back a couple times, but kind of like failed, and like, yeah. Now it's kind of like a series that's like very much forgotten about, so I don't know. I don't even know who the fuck owns the rights now to Medal of Honor. Cool.
Schooly.
Oh, it's pretty warm in here. Oh, I can't wait to make Orzo this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Have I told you before what that is?
Don't think so.
Like, basically pasta in the shape of rice. And like, I add that with like chorizo. And like tomato sauce and some paprika. And at the end I also add like rucola and like feta cheese. It's so fucking good.
Sounds good.
I'm just always disappointed because I know that pasta is not the most healthy thing because like it turns like into sugar in your body. And it's like always better, more recommended to eat rice instead, but I just don't really like rice. I love pasta, but rice, I don't know.
Do you prefer fried rice?
Maybe. I don't know if that's healthy, but I don't know.
I mean, if you compare like to pasta.
Or maybe I should just like try making a pasta dish with rice instead and see if it is any good. Oh god, what a terrible throw. Oh god! Oh god, I didn't expect it to be Domino Day. I fucked up all the explosives here. Did I kill Hans at least? I think I at least killed Hans. Unless you did that, or...
Oh,
Oh, never mind. Hans is still there. What I also think is like, you know, a lot of people were like, I guess, getting burned out with World War II shooters. But I think like there's plenty of things in World War II that haven't even been tackled that much again, like mostly like the fights with Japan haven't been done that much. I also think that there's not that many games that have like levels in North Africa. Like Call of Duty 1 or 2, I don't remember which of the two did that. But that was pretty much the only game where I've played like in North Africa in a World War II setting. And like 99% of the games it's like the invasion of Normandy. And I understand that that was like one of the most important moments in World War II because it was like the big turning point of the war. But yeah, if every single World War II game is Invasion of Normandy, then yeah, I can understand that people will get sick of it.
The southern Marta relic is of crucial importance now. I must return to
Has there been like any World War II game that you play as a resistance?
Indie game, I believe. Which I heard mixed things about. I actually have it, I forgot the name. Iron Front or something? Or maybe it was a different name. But I heard mixed things about. Some people liked it, but some people said it was like a buggy mess, so... I don't know, I guess I'll try it one day. But yeah, oh yeah, and of course, how could I forget Medal of Honor Underground. The second Medal of Honor game. You play as a French resistance lady. Which is next on my list for Medal of Honor games.
Cool. Nice.
Actually
Is
bought
it
a
console exclusive as well?
Yeah, it's a PlayStation 1 game. I got it in Amsterdam for like 12 euros. Which is like kind of the max I would pay for a game like that. I have the high ground.
Especially with the discs for PlayStation 1 being a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
It might be PlayStation 2 that's more troublesome.
Oh, PS... Yeah, it depends. PS1 games definitely are... yeah, a bit tough sometimes.
We have like a few PlayStation 2 games that we took good care of, and then they still broke.
Oh.
Like the actual console scratched discs.
Oh, that's the console's issue, yeah. Some have that. I've heard that a lot. But I do know that some people said, like, oh, it's the PlayStation 2 Slim that does that. But that's not true, because I have a PlayStation 2 Slim and mine does not scratch discs.
Yeah, we had the Fat Boy at first, which then broke. So we have the slim version now.
And that one scratched discs, or?
No, I think it was the previous one, the Fat one.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think there's just certain systems that do that, sadly, because of like faulty. But definitely not all slim ones, like some people say. I've knew like a streamer who would be like, oh, all slim versions scratch discs, but that's not true, because mine doesn't.
I think it also depends on which revision it was. Like, maybe the first generations of the slim version had trouble with scratching discs.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
And the slim version was like the end of life of PlayStation 2 at that point.
Yeah, I'm hoping my PS2 is gonna survive for a bit. Even though PS2 emulators are pretty good nowadays. But like the main problem that I sort of fixed was that my PS2 stopped reading discs. And that is because if you close the lid on the PS2 Slim, there's two corners that have like a little piece of plastic sticking out, and like on the top lid, and you press them into two holes when you close the lid that press two buttons. And those two buttons need to be pressed at the same time to signal to the system like that it's closed and it needs to read disk. So the reason why it stops reading disk is basically that one or two of the buttons don't get pressed properly anymore. So it's literally just that. So the way I fixed it was to just open it up and I put a little bit of pizza cardboard inside. Just, you know, cut it out in the right shape. It's just a tiny piece of cardboard, and just do it there so that, you know, the plastic hits the cardboard and then the cardboard pushes into the button, and then voila, it starts reading again. So it's not even like a hardware issue technically, it's just like it's, you know, from wear and tear that the button doesn't get pushed in properly anymore. Whereas some people might think, oh, you know, the reader is broken. It's like, no, the reader works fine. It's just not getting the signal of, hey, you should read now. Because it thinks the lid is open. I'm happy I learned that, because now every time I meet people and they say, oh yeah, my PS2 stopped reading discs, I'll ask, like, was it the slim one? Because if it was, you can try this easy fix. And it's a lot easier than, yeah, having to solder shit or replace components versus just like open it and put a piece of cardboard in. But I still need to finish 2 more 24-hour races in Gran Turismo 4.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully my PS2 will survive that.
Yeah, but you're gonna try and like put up a segment of 6 to 8 hours or something?
Yeah, basically. Previously I did 8-hour long sessions, but holy fuck, that was tough to get through. Like, I think 5 is kind of like the max limit of what remains fun in a race. Kind of like more than 5 hour long race, you start to become kind of like oversaturated with driving on the same track or something. But you know, I'm still just gonna do it, and thankfully in Gran Turismo 5 and onwards you can just save during pit stops. So I can kind of just in the future do however long session for a race and then just play something else. But here it's like, of course, like you wanna not keep your PS2 on for multiple weeks.
Yeah,
so it's like, preferably try to finish the race as quickly as possible, so you want to get as many hours in per day as you can. Ah! It's safe. Thankfully a suicider exploded. Thank you. Oh, I hear someone coming. Ah! I'm wondering if we would have Slayer Dude with us, if we could play on like the highest enemy count or not. Because I know he's pretty good at Sniper Elite. Time for some Wawa. I'm also gonna make a Greek-style tray bake again this week.
Nice.
Which is just gonna be a tray with, again, like paprika, olives, some chicken, and also feta cheese and some red onion, and just dump it all in a tray, mix it a bit, put it in the oven, and like, so great. The olives are optional, of course. As is anything else, really. Because, funnily enough, the app I use to shop, I don't know if they have it in Sweden as well, but it's called Picnic.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
I don't think so.
So it's basically like an online store that you can do grocery shopping. But they also have their section of recipes, which I use a lot for, you know, just learning new recipes. Very often I don't know what I'm in the mood for, so I'm just gonna browse recipes, and when I see something good. What is also useful, you see a recipe, you go to the page, and you see all the products that you need, and with like one press of the button, it like adds all the ingredients, so that's like very nice. So it's like very accessible for like learning new ingredients. But I've noticed, like, whoever the fuck comes up with all the recipes, they have like a fucking fetish for eggplant.
Oh yeah.
Because like so many have eggplant in it. It's crazy. Like every recipe, eggplant, and I don't like eggplant. But thankfully, you know, you can just add it and then just remove the eggplant, of course. But You know, usually I just, if there's no paprika, I'll just replace the eggplant with paprika because I like paprika. But it's like, it's just funny, you know, every time I'm browsing recipes, like, oh, eggplant, eggplant. Like, why you put eggplant in every fucking recipe?
Does it get like additional cost if you replace the eggplant with paprika?
No, no, no. You just pay only for, like, the separate products.
Well, I think paprika is like more expensive in comparison to eggplant.
Oh, I mean, you just, you know, you just pay for the paprika instead of the eggplant, so I don't know if it's expensive or not, but you just pay for the ingredients. It's basically like a tool of, like, online groceries. You can add whatever you want, and there's just this tool of, like, hey, we have this recipe, if you like it, you can just add all the ingredients or mix it up, and, you know, so it's like very easy. And you can the great thing about cooking is if you have a recipe, usually there's always gonna be stuff that you can customize, you know, stuff that you can remove and add to suit your own taste. And that's what I love about cooking. Like, unless it's a recipe that has 50 things that I don't like, you know, if it's like eggplant and mushrooms and like shrimp and whatever the fuck, then yeah, like, obviously I'm not gonna be interested. But if it's like a Mediterranean recipe and there's eggplant in it, I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I'll just go without eggplant and instead have paprika if it's not there. But paprika isn't even that expensive. Oh wait, I've been using the wrong word actually, because in English paprika is the spice paprika, right? Because I mean, like, paprika is in the vegetable, like the pepper.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because we in Dutch say paprika to refer to the pepper, but if we say the spice, we literally say paprika powder. So that's why I've been saying it the wrong way in English, because yeah, in English it's technically a pepper, you call it. And paprika.
You know, I think of the bigger paprika vegetable, like the yellow, green, or red ones.
Yeah. Those are the ones I was talking about. But they're pretty cheap. Wherever I live.
I have to check.
Like, hold on, I can open the app and see the price. While I'm sniping zombie heads, I'm gonna look for paprika. Yeah, so like, I mean, I guess it depends if it's expensive or not, but just like a mix of 3 paprikas, like a yellow, orange, and a red one. You get 3 of them that are like, I guess, medium sized, and that costs €2.
Okay.
Which I think is fair.
So here, pretty much, the red one per kilogram it costs 47 crowns, which is like 4 points, or closer to €5.
Well, I don't know how much they weigh individually though, because here you buy them per piece, not per weight. Well, you do like save if you buy multiple, because if I buy one, it's like €1, but I can get 3 for €2. Oh, here's a mix of yeah. So here's like €3 for 300 grams. So that's €1 per 100 grams. And how much did you say was the price per gram for you?
About €5
Per
per kilogram.
per kilogram.
Otherwise, there's a mixed
Well,
bag
that's then cheap, right? Because that would be 50 cents per 100 grams. So that means it's even cheaper over where you live, and for you it's expensive.
For the past few years, its price has gone up quite a bit.
Wow.
So a mixed bag of 3 different kinds of colors, it costs like €3,
Oh.
and that's like 400 grams.
Yeah, because it doesn't say like the 3 mixed colors. It just says €2. But then, like, if there's a mix of 300 grams, just small little ones, tiny ones, all in that bucket, then 300 grams for €3. So I don't know. I guess maybe you know. I guess it used to be cheaper probably here as well, and I haven't seen the price increase, so probably that's why for me it didn't seem that expensive. But I guess it makes sense, because if something is expensive for you or not depends on what you're used to. So like if you're used to paying less for it, then yeah, I understand that now it feels expensive, whereas I've only started buying paprikas and cooking properly more recently, so I'm just used to this price, so that's why I thought it was cheap. But I guess it used to be cheaper then, which makes sense because everything is going up in price. Sadly. Thankfully, the amount of money I do get has gone up a bit. With like the support money thing.
Yeah, especially now that you're moving out.
Yeah, then it's gonna increase even more. And I don't need that much money to be happy, technically, like...
I mean, if you have covered with like food, that goes a long way.
Yeah, like, I like to cook good food, and have a good internet connection, and be able to pay for, like, you know, my basic bills, water and electricity. Other than that, there's usually not that much more I need, and, you know, because of that, I can gather money, and then if there is something I want, I'll spend it on that. Because I know there's some people that spend so much money that at the end of each month they basically run out. And then they wait for the payday. And I'm not like that. Every month I try to like get more money than the last one. And not like end at... Because I like having a decent bit of money to fall back on in an emergency. Because you never know what life might throw at you, and suddenly you might have to pay for like something. Can be any kind of emergency. And yeah, that would make me sleep a lot more comfortable at night, knowing, hey, I have like this amount of money to fall back on in case, you know, all of a sudden I need something crucial. Like one example, a bunch of years ago, like 10 years ago, that was money I had because of my father, who passed away earlier. But yeah, you know, I got a lot of money. Well, it was not from my father, but it was like from my grandfather. But because my father wasn't alive anymore, it went through to me, right? I was like the next person in the family tree. Because my brother technically has a different biological father. But, you know, like all of a sudden, my dog was super sick and she needed an operation. And we all didn't have much money, except, you know, the money I got from my grandparents passing away. And yeah, to save my dog's life for that operation was like €1,000 bill. And, you know, like, thankfully I had that, so I was able to pay for that. And because of that, my dog got to live like 10 more years. So like you never know what kind of emergency can happen all of a sudden, so it's, in my opinion, just always good to just build up a little bit. Of course, not saying that, you know, you should never spend any money on anything cool, but yeah, definitely is the smart thing to hopefully make it possible that you can profit a bit every month, so you can build up something like that. Kill 20 enemies as they revive. Okay. And yeah, it's, you know, I have so many games that I never really need to buy games at full price. Because it's like, if a game comes out at 60 or 70 euros, then yeah, like I'm almost never gonna buy that. Because I'm like, oh, I might as well play other games and one day I'll pick it up at a discount.
Yeah, especially nowadays, you only have to wait like a month or two and then it's close to 40% off.
Yeah, in some cases. And even then, I probably won't buy it. Like, usually it's like a couple years and I buy it only at like 80 to 90%. Yeah, and then it's like usually less than 5 euros, you know? It's like, that's like the average price I buy games at is like 2 or 3 euros probably. With, you know, occasionally the exception, you know, sometimes maybe 10 or 20 if I really badly want to play something.
Yeah, especially when you have like an independent game developer, like for
Yeah.
instance Bolt Gun.
Yeah, something like Bolt Gun I picked up like pretty early. Or like Dark Souls 2 I think I bought for like a not even that big of a discount, but you know, it's like FromSoft.
Yeah, they don't really price their game off.
Yeah, especially since the release of Elden Ring, they kind of halted with their discounts on the Dark Souls games. I saw that, like, 'cause I saw like a chart of like how they priced off their games, and was like, the moment Elden Ring released, they stopped like doing discounts for Dark Souls 2, and then like only tiny discounts. But you know, fair enough. They want more people to buy Elden Ring and not Dark Souls 2, so.
I don't remember if I bought Elden Ring on a discount or not.
Yeah, that's also a useful thing for me. Oh, bullshit. Because I have that. I kind of like have that thing where I want to play games on release order. So if it's like, oh, a new Tomb Raider game comes out, well, I still gotta play the second Tomb Raider now. It's like, you know, I understand some people really don't like old games, but for me, I'm like fine with playing old games. I'm like absolutely fine with playing the original, even though the original 3 Tomb Raider games are getting a remaster, which I found out about very recently.
Nice.
With Lara with all her bodily proportions as they originally were.
Oh, so they're gonna keep it.
Yep. Which surprised me, because I know like the modern Tomb Raider games have a more modernized Lara with more realistic body proportions, which is also fine, you know, like the games look good as well, but you know. But yeah, that's why I'm also just saving a lot of money, and you know, I'm even taking it that far where I'm like, okay, well, I know Sekiro and Bloodborne are not sequels to Dark Souls, but you know, they're from the same developers and they're similar enough where I'm like treating them as sequels. Even though I didn't play the original games from FromSoft, you know, like fuck, I forgot what they were called. Those first-person Dark Souls kind of games. But they're like first-person adventure games on PS1, which I heard are actually pretty good. So maybe I'll play them one day. A King's Quest or something, I don't know if they're called. Or maybe that was something else.
Yeah, I think it was called like something similar to that.
Yeah, King's Quest or something King, or I don't remember. Well, I did start with Demon's Souls, because that was like the first proper Souls-like. And I really liked it, even though some of the bosses are definitely a bit shitty. But not in shitty as in unfair or hard, but just in like pretty bad because they're super simple. Like, you know, just like the Bed of Chaos in Dark Souls 1. That kind of level of shit. Even though that one was, I'd say, a bit more annoying, but... But yeah, so I gotta... Kinda wanna go back to Bloodborne. Was planning on this month, but because of all the moving and stuff, I'm gonna have to see. I mean, I haven't packed my PS4 yet, so I could technically just grab my PS4 controller and do it, but... I don't know. Hell yeah, dude. But I'm just happy that I save a lot of money by doing that as well. It's a lot more convenient than being scared of old graphics and being like, oh, that game is too old. And sure, sometimes there are games that might be too dated, where I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't play that, but...
I mean, I think my threshold is when a game just feels terrible to play.
Yeah, exactly. It's not necessarily the graphics, but more so how clunky the game is to play. And some games have aged badly where it's just so clunky. Especially when you look at like strategy games and stuff like that, where you have to do a lot of managing. It's like pretty clunky in a lot of older games. But yeah, it just depends on the clunkiness, yeah. Uh-oh. Ow. You coming? Oh, there's another one behind him. Twice the hunts. Ah! Fuck. He came around the corner a lot sooner than I expected. They're both coming. Oh. Thorn hunts. Attack.
The texts warned what would happen, but we assumed it was an allegorical superstition. I wish it were.
But yeah, like sometimes I won't bother with certain games, like the original Mario thingy with like kind of was like a two-player game, I believe. I instead just started with Super Mario Brothers, which was already pretty hard.
Got an achievement.
Nice. What did you get?
5,000 zombies.
Damn. And some games definitely are a bit older, but they take a little bit of getting used to, and then they start to really grow on you. Like, again, the original Tomb Raider. Coming into Tomb Raider, it will feel clunky at the beginning. Like, oh, tank controls, and they're like, oh, the platforming, but like, after you get used to it, it's like actually very consistent platforming, which I think is pretty well done for a third-person platforming. I was very surprised that like it felt pretty good. The combat is sometimes a bit derpy, but it's just a bit running around and jumping. But
I mean, at the time they didn't really know how to do it either.
yeah. Yeah, that's why I think it's aged surprisingly well, because they did it in a way that worked pretty decently. Same way like the original Medal of Honor on PS1. Which was like when FPS games, no one really knew how to do that on console properly yet. But I think how they did that on console was pretty good. It aged really well. Like I thought it played pretty good. Fuck. Oh, I didn't know we could go farther back there. Damn skeleton. That was my bad, because I didn't know there was a staircase there. Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's close.
Up you go.
Thank you.
He's not dead.
What about the other one? There were 2 of them.
Yeah, the other one is dead.
Oh, nice. I can play. Oh, okay. Good job. I was cheering you on from the floor. Ow! Campers! Noob campers. Where the fuck are these plugs? Oh, I was looking up. Oh, fuck.
So noisy.
Extinguished. Book. Uh-oh. It's a burning Hans, the hot Hans. Oh, I don't have my double barrel shotgun anymore.
Oh. Oh no.
Yeah.
Dead.
Okay. That's a lot of zombos. Nice. Oh, a little mini Steve.
Hmm.
There's ammo crates in these two doors. Gotta destroy the relic.
Destroyed.
Without it, they cannot call more zombos. Kitties.
Oh.
I have it. Now I must unite it with the others in the Führer bunker. I hope I...
I know that scream from Doom 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Got most kills again. Continue.
The second piece of the Saga Mata relic is located at the very epicenter of this nightmare, the Führer bunker. Hidden beneath the domed splendor of the Berlin Planetarium, the Führer bunker contains many dark secrets that will likely never be revealed.
Wow. The Führer bunker.
I think it might be up to this level I've played. Rest is gonna be blind, I think.
Yeah, I think I played the first two Nazi zombie armies. I don't know if I completed the second one though. I do remember this level. But it was a long time ago. What?
You kind of notice that in later episodes it's more fleshed out, like with the story and content.
Oh.
The
Yeah,
first
that's...
episode is kind of bleak, empty.
Yeah, it's usually how it goes with level design.
You see any bottle?
I thought I saw him, but it's not a bottle. What? Zombos? They're coming out of the water. Oh my god, why is my aim so shit? I'm not a real gamer. Whoa. Who was flying that?
A very cartoony effect also.
Ammo for Thompson? I don't even have a Thompson. What are you giving me? So do you expect Activision Blizzard to improve now that Microsoft is gonna own them for real?
I mean, hopefully. Both Activision and Blizzard are in a pretty shitty state.
Oh yeah. I just want them to put Raven Software into actually making high, like more old school FPS games, like they used to make. Assuming they still have the same talent at Raven, because I don't know if that's the case, but
Microsoft be like giving them unrestricted access and funds to do whatever they like.
yeah, and I'm hoping a re-release of Wolfenstein from Raven Software 2009 or something was it? Because Wolfenstein is owned by Bethesda, or yeah, and Bethesda is owned by Microsoft, but that game was originally made by Raven Software, which is owned by Activision Blizzard, which is now also owned by Microsoft. So I think they now should have the ability to re-release that game, which would be fucking awesome if they did, because that one is so underrated.
It is kind of bad that like big corporations are owning big chunks of the game developing market, but at the same time,
yeah, I
good
don't.
for at least Raven Software.
We don't want to give them too much of a monopoly. But in a general sense, I think it's not that bad yet. But I did hear that Ubisoft wants to sell to someone. And to be fair, I do kind of think, you know, Ubisoft is also one of those companies that, in my opinion, yeah, really struggle with making games that are worth getting excited about. So, like, if they could get owned and, like, some new leadership and, like, be told, like, hey, we should, like, kind of do it differently, maybe more quality over quantity, then that could be good for Ubisoft. Because I do think they have talented people working.
Yeah, I mean, if they would return to their roots, like their previous games, like Rayman and stuff, a lot of people would appreciate it.
Yeah.
It might make a big profit, but at least they would like it.
Yeah, and they should really take, like, you know, the games they have, like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry. I think there's potential there. I think there's a lot of talented people. It's just that they do quantity over quality with, like, the big open worlds, lots of copy pasting, and they could just do it a lot better by putting more effort into it. But yeah, I don't know who's gonna buy Ubisoft, but yeah, as far as I know is that they're kind of for sale now.
Nintendo.
Oh god. Yeah, Nintendo I also think really should, like, step away from exclusivity, similar to, like, what Sony is kind of doing now. Like, Microsoft, you know, I like that all Microsoft, all Xbox exclusives are also PC. Sony, yeah, I mean, they still have exclusives, but they're releasing more and more to PC, which I really like. Even though some of them are pretty shitty versions I saw that ran very crap, but yeah, like, if Nintendo games could start coming to PC, then I'd have a reason to stop using emulators. The last Nintendo system I bought was the 3DS, and I can't even buy digital games anymore for that.
Yeah.
Because they closed the fucking shop.
Yeah, Nintendo was very weird with their like online stores and connectivity.
Yeah, and they're also really bad at game preservation. Instead of preserving, they're gonna like try and more capitalize on like you know, like the Super Mario Sunshine 64 and Galaxy combination thing they had going, and they only sold it temporarily. And stuff like that, and like just weird things they do. Or if you want to play old NES games and stuff, you can't buy them. You have to pay a subscription to play them. That's the kind of shit I really hate. It was like, hey, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Yeah, I'd buy that for like a handful of euros, you know. But yeah, that was not playable on my 3DS, only on the new 3DS, which I did not have. It was a different version. Even though the 3DS I have, hardware is good enough to run Link to the Past, but yeah. That's kind of where I got pissed off. I was like, I have a system that is capable of running it, but you're refusing to sell it to me. So yeah, that's kind of when I stopped buying Nintendo games and things. I did have like some left on my account wallet, so some time ago before it closed I bought some games, spent all the money I had, I believe. But yeah, it's just fuck. Like on Steam there's like a couple cool classic game collections, like the Konami Classic Collection or whatever, what is the Castlevania. There's like a Sega Classic Collection, and there's like a whole bunch of like classic game collections. Uh-oh, behind you.
Oh.
And I think that's just very cool. Having these easily accessible game collection thingies from old consoles. And Nintendo could easily do the same and make that convenient, but no. Like, basically, what I hate is I find a specific old Nintendo game, and then I basically have to, like, follow a chart to find out what fucking system I can get it on. Can I get it on my can I get it on my 3DS? Do I need, DS? Do I need this? Do I need that? Like, because you could say, oh, you know, if you get a Switch now, you get access to a lot. Yeah, but still not all of them. And like even Sony does it better. Like the first system they had with internet connectivity, PlayStation 3, the PS3 store had like so many good PlayStation 1 titles that you could buy most of the good PS1 games, not all still, but like a decent bit. And with PS4 as well, and PSP, like you have a lot of good old games that are being sold. And then with my 3DS, they just refused to sell. I mean, I still bought some games, you know, I did buy like some Pokemon games and whatnot, because I think that's good what they did, to make the old Pokemon games accessible in that way. And you can even technically send your Pokemon from Generation 1 to 2 and then to 3 through those versions. Whereas originally you could not send from 2 to 3. And they even added like the Japanese version to Crystal. Like not the Japanese, that the game becomes Japanese, but like the Japanese event of being able to catch Celebi. Which was like an event exclusive to the Japanese version. So they added that, so I think that's very cool that they did that. But yeah, then at other moments they just refuse to sell certain games. And then they're surprised, like there's some games they literally do not sell, and then angry that you download ROMs. It's like, you're literally not selling this game. Because yeah, that's where I base my moral compass of, like, can I buy this game from the official company? Yes and no. If it's no, then yeah, I feel I'm morally allowed to pirate it. And if it's still a yes, I can buy it, then it also depends on how convenient is it for me to buy it. Because right fucking now, they fucking made it a lot less convenient for me by turning off the 3DS store. Zombies. Oh, he's doing the worm. They're doing the worm. Oh, get them doing the worm. Wormy boys. One big problem still, though, in terms of preservation, which is super annoying, is with licensing issues. Mainly bad in games that feature licensed soundtracks. So, like, you know, the old GTA games, which have been re-released, but they now have different soundtracks, lots of original songs missing. Thankfully on PC you can mod them back in, but it's still a bit of a chore. But because I grew up with them, I will refuse to play GTA games without the full original soundtrack. It's just not happening for me, because it is such a big part of the experience for me. But you know, there's also plenty of other games, like, you know, the old Tony Hawk games. Yeah, it would be awesome if those got re-released, but again, that would be a fuck ton of licensing costs. And I think it's also absolutely criminal, like, I have Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 for the PlayStation 2, right? I can still put that disc in, and I will have all the same songs in. But for some... or no, wait, better example. GTA 4. I have GTA 4 on PlayStation 3. I can put the disc in, and it still has the original soundtrack. Meanwhile, if I install GTA 4 on Steam, guess what? It's updated to have the soundtrack removed. I think that is criminal. Like, I understand of reselling. If they want to keep it for sale, they need to pay the licenses. Sure. But if I bought the game in the past, when those songs were licensed, then they the songs should not just randomly be patched out in my version. I think that's criminal. I paid for those licenses. I paid for the game. Because, like, again, my PS3 versions still have the songs, so why should my Steam version not have that? I think that's, like, one of the most terrible things. That shit gets patched out. And another problem where you see the same kind of thing, but it's more like the games just get removed from the store instead, is with racing games. Because with racing games, you get the problem of licensing car brands. And that's why you don't really see, like, you know, Gran Turismo or Forza games being remastered or whatnot. Or Need for Speed, that would be a hell for both, because that is licensed cars and also soundtrack. Which was all very cool. And yeah, that's why a lot of the old Forza games They just get removed from store because it's just not worth for them to keep paying the frickin' licensing for all the cars in that game. So, like, in terms of preservation, that's also very fucking annoying, the older Forza games.
Hmm. Do you know if, like, Forza 3 and 4 are still playable?
I can check it real quick. You mean
considering it with it being like an online service?
you mean Horizon or Motorsport?
I guess Horizon.
Horizon, which one? 3 and 4 or 4 and 5?
5 is the latest, I think. So it should be fine.
Yeah, and like 3, yeah, 3 is not being sold anymore. It's removed from store. I'm sure you could still play it offline though. And then Horizon 4 is still being sold on Steam. And on Microsoft Store as well. I'm curious when they're gonna remove that from store. But yeah, those are definitely like, you know, legit problems. And for me, you know, the newest Xbox I have is a 360. It's also the only Xbox I have. But yeah, if, you know, the games that only came on the later consoles, you know, those Forza games are gonna be a lot harder for me to play because I don't have an Xbox One and better. And on PC, a lot of them are not being sold anymore. Horizon 3 I do own on the Microsoft Store because I bought it in the past, so. But, yeah. It is just fucking weird and fucked up. It's definitely one of those things where it's like licensing and stuff is like kind of outdated in that regard. Even Metal Gear Solid, with their re-releases, you might think, oh, but what copyrighted content do they have? Well, Metal Gear Solid games are very exposition focused, lots of cutscenes, and there's certain cutscenes that show like copyrighted visuals of like, you know, footage of like laboratories or maybe like videos of like army vehicles or something. You know, copyrighted real life footage is what it uses in certain cutscenes for like reference material when certain topics are being discussed. Like historical kind of video footage as well and stuff like that. Doesn't happen a lot, but you know, there's small little details, and that's also what the rights will expire from, so those will get replaced and changed or maybe just taken out. And again, I don't have that issue with owning the original PS2 versions of the games, where I still have those videos. So it does make it so weird how, like, you know, if you own a physical disc, they cannot really change what's on the disc for you. Whereas all of a sudden, if you start buying on digital storefronts, then yeah, that becomes suddenly a problem. Oh crap. I need to get up really quickly for one moment. Because I don't know how to explain it, like underneath my belly there's been like a red spot for a couple days now that's been irritated. And right now I just checked and it like popped out with some blood, so I need to quickly grab some paper and clean that.
Sure.
So 1 moment. Thankfully it doesn't hurt or anything, but it's just like my skin getting irritated because it's like in a spot that gets like a lot of friction between my skin. Alright, I'm back.
Hello.
Hello.
Did you put on a band-aid or something?
No, it was very small bleed, thankfully. Nothing serious, just had to like wipe off the blood a bit, but... Plus a band-aid on that spot would just not stick. Because it's like, you know, literally just under like the biggest roll of belly fat. So yeah, it would just like be like totally it would get squished, the whole thing. So yeah, the only thing I can do is keep it clean and hopefully lose weight so that it becomes a less of a problem.
Yeah, it goes a long way just keeping it dry and clean.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been like for a couple days now I've noticed that there's like a big red spot growing. But it's not like the kind of pimple you'd want to squeeze, because that would be very bad. So it's just like growing, and yeah, eventually like it grows to the point where it becomes very sensitive, where I only just checked like, and then yeah, I just saw blood coming out a bit. It's like, oh. Yeah, that's the disadvantage of being fat. One of the disadvantages.
Then you also put in some physical effort these past few days as well.
Yeah, past, like, I've been very busy with packing and all that stuff, which gives me some more physical movement. Though a bit less the last few days, because it's been more like Lego disassembling. But there were other days where I was like doing a lot of heavy lifting downstairs of boxes and stuff.
Is this my punishment for defying the Führer? I must return to the Führer bunker.
But yeah, thankfully I'm also eating healthier than I used to, so that's good. Like, the main problem is just not enough movement, and even though when I'm not even getting really much movement, I kind of like mostly stay the same weight. So even if I just get a bit more movement, I just easily start losing more weight, especially because I'm eating healthier now as well, so it's just the lack of movement, really.
Yeah, one of the big drawbacks is that it's quite expensive to eat healthy. In comparison to junk food.
Yeah. That is true. Especially in the school cafeteria where I used to go, holy crap. You want like a healthy sandwich? Would be a lot more than like just a yummy hot chicken sandwich. Oh, those hot chicken sandwiches were so good. Holy crap. My mouth is watering just thinking back of them.
Can't escape the middle of the night hungry
Oh, that as well.
food thoughts.
Yeah, that as well. Like I kind of most often just eat one big meal during the day, and that's about it. But often enough, there's a little bit of leftovers from the meal, and that I usually then eat like sometimes before the stream or sometimes maybe a bit after, but in a general sense, I do feel like I'm hungry plenty of time, but I don't feel like I necessarily eat that I don't eat enough, because the portions I eat when I do eat are like very big. They're like a portion for like 2 people. So it's not like I don't get enough calories. Like, I definitely do get plenty of calories, but I think I have something probably with my body that I just keep getting hungry quickly and stuff. I also have something called, very likely I have something called insulin resistance or something like that, which is not very good, because that also like affects with some things with like how your body processes foods and stuff and gets hungry quickly or something. I don't know exactly, but I do try to be fair with like spacing out how much I eat. Like, there are some days where I'm like gonna go crazy and really eat like a fuck ton, and then like purposefully the next day I'll like eat a lot less to compensate. To like balance it out a bit.
Yeah, it often comes down to that you need to put in a lot of hours to make the body like process its food.
Yeah, that as well. Which I thankfully do, because it's like I wake up, then I make instantly dinner actually. And then pretty much most of the day, you know, I don't really eat much. You know, sometimes I have some snacks, but with snacks it's also usually like 1 week I skip buying snacks and then the other I buy snacks. So like kind of like alternating that as well. Which reminds me, I do have a little few pieces of chocolate left here. Which, I haven't really touched for a long while. Like, I've had this all week. I haven't even really touched it much. Oh no. I'm surprised we haven't found any bottles yet. I've been looking around, but I cannot find. But yeah, I'm also just trying to add a lot more vegetables to my dinner. Because, you know, I'm one of those people who as a kid, I mean, most kids were like this, that never really ate vegetables. But, you know, the older I grew, the more vegetables I started appreciating. Still kind of slowly, but, you know, onions, I always kind of was like the first vegetable I started liking. And then, yeah, the paprika, peppers. And now, most recently, my new addition to what I actually really like is arugula.
Eggplant.
No. Now, arugula is surprisingly good. Like, it actually has like an interesting little flavor going on. And I'm like, wow. That's actually not bad. And occasionally I also add like some more spinach to things. But I still prefer arugula. Which is in some ways similar, but definitely a bit different taste.
Any bottle.
Bad life. The saddest of lives. Well, like, a lot of my dinners just start out with, like, chopping up an onion and just cooking that. And of course garlic and paprika often after that as well. Oh, I thought he was gonna puke.
Not the eggplant. go.
MP44.
Haven't seen a gold bar in a while.
Oh, I grabbed a few.
Oh, okay.
There was one in the tents.
Stealing all the gold.
But wait, if one player grabs that one, then the other one gets them too, right? Or not?
It should go to both.
Okay, good. Because I thought that worked like that, because it's like that with the wine bottles. So that's why I didn't say anything sometimes when I grabbed the gold bar. I was like, oh, okay. I thought it would pop up on your screen as well. I don't know. Does it?
I might have found it on a previous playthrough.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't found any bottles yet this level. Considering like I'm actually also sort of looking a bit, putting a bit of effort in.
I mean, especially the city maps are difficult to find them.
Lots of rooftops. Ow. My leg.
My leg. Oh no. Spooky.
Okay. Yeah, I do kind of remember this section. It is a good thing to like make this like spooky, because it's like a pretty historical area with like lots of fucked up shit. As much as it has been memed, I have watched Der Untergang.
Yeah, I think I've seen it once, but this was like 10, 15 years ago. Well, from what I remember, it was pretty good.
Yeah, like the actor was like very good with portraying Hitler like crazy. Befehl ist ein Befehl. But that one scene, the one famous scene from the movie, got really memed a lot with like fake subtitles. And I even know like a very funny Dutch voiceover from that, which is like when he goes like over the map. He like basically is talking about like a trip, like planning a trip with his group to like the zoo and stuff like that. And then like Hitler's like not happy that they're going to the zoo because he wants to go somewhere else. Because, like, yeah, we've been there last year as well and stuff like that. And it's like, but there's like a new baby lion in the zoo, and like, no, I don't give a fuck about the new baby animal and stuff like that. Fucking hilarious voiceover. Especially because the voices themselves are also like funny. And then he's like, at the end, like Hitler like suggests like, what about here? Do you like that? Like, should we go here instead? Maybe. And then like everyone walks out of the room.
Oh, it's you.
Wow, that looks comfortable.
Am I here?
No.
They're not included.
The Nazis are sexist. They will only impale men.
Hans.
I'll put down a surprise for Hans. Oh, never mind. What the fuck? What the fuck happened there? I was still walking and then I fell down. What?
Nice.
That was weird. Oh no, what?
Speedrun. Oh, it's this entire beginning area.
What the fuck? How? That's not a good checkpoint. That is not a good checkpoint. What the fuck?
Like 10, 15 minutes of gameplay.
What is this, narcosis?
Oh.
No checkpoints? If only my aim was not shit.
Yeah, I've been up for like 18 hours now, maybe something like that. I'm getting tired.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh my god, they're so fucking fast. Well, at least I found gold that I missed last time.
Nice.
That was worth it.
Wrong way.
Wrong way. Now you can get to pick up the phone as well. You can pick up the phone.
Who's there? Oh, spook.
Alright, now I'm just gonna put mines here beforehand. Oh god, you coming from there as well. Oh no. Where's this guy? Okay, weird. Big Hans. Yeah. Oh, that's a flash. Oh shit. Oh no.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you wanna call it there?
I could play one more, but if you're tired, then that's fine too.
I think I might be tired.
Okay. We got all gold bars, but no wine bottles.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had 2 from a previous playthrough.
Hmm. Alright, cool. That was fun.
Yes.
Well, then I wish you a big good night of sleep. I'm also gonna go to bed in not too long.
Thanks.
So yeah, thank you for playing. It was fun. And
Yes, it was.
is good.
Mm.
And yeah, looking forward to playing more, and plenty of other games we'll also end up playing. It's gonna be even better when I get my new apartment soon,
Oj.
hopefully. But there's probably also, of course, gonna be like some days where I won't stream for a few days, probably. I don't know how long.
Yeah, especially like the first 2 weeks maybe. A lot of things to fix up with the apartment.
And well, I don't know how long it's gonna take to get an internet connection, but but yeah, hopefully as quick as possible when all that happens. But yeah, also just the moment when I'm gonna have to like pack my PC and everything, and yeah, and yeah, when I do live there, I'll probably have to even more drastically change my sleeping schedule. Like, I don't know, like what time, but like maybe like something about going to bed between midnight and 2 a.m. or something. Like more around that is probably what I should like have as a goal. Oh yeah. Then it'll probably be on other moments to play co-op. I don't know. Depends on what your schedule will be, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll just have to plan ahead if it comes to that.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Currently, I'm going to bed at 4 a.m. approximately, so.
Yes.
All right. Well, you have a good night, Toaster.
You too. Take care.
Bye bye. And yeah, thank you everyone for coming over. Have a good night.